Hey guys, so today we're going to be looking at unintentional impacts of human activity on a coastline. So we're going to be looking at the Norfolk coastline over here. So as you can see here, the fetch over the North Sea is really large, is really long. This just means the area of land that wind can travel across before reaching a coastline. So the fetch here is really long. This means that waves can build up a lot of energy, and so the waves that hit the Norfolk coast are generally quite strong. There's a lot of storms, and you can also see the swell window is quite large, so this just means that winds from lots of different directions can approach this area. Because you can see over here as well, there's a lot of open water before you reach land. So the first place that we're going to be looking at is Bacton-on-sea. So Baktun is along the Norfolk coast, and it's a small village, and but the important thing is it has a gas terminal here. This is a very large gas terminal, as you can see. It provides a lot of natural gas to a lot of the UK, and it also transports natural gas. It just basically transports natural gas along pipelines, so it's provides a lot of income for the area, and of course natural gas. So this coastline needs to be protected because it's had a lot of the Norfolk coast in general has had a lot of storms and flooding and stuff, so it's important that it's protected, especially this gas terminal, which is very valuable. So here you can see that there's some groins being built out into the sea along here. This is to trap sediment because longshore drift is going in a north-south direction along here. So it's to trap sediment and build up the beach. Building up the beach, of course, stops sediment from going south, but it also increases the friction along the coastline, which reduces the energy of the waves for erosion. There's also a sea wall along here, which provides further protection to the gas terminal. And there's also rock armour, although I'm not actually certain where it is, and I can't quite see it on this map. So generally, the protection in Baktun has been very successful. You can see that the beach is quite far out along here compared to just north of it and just south of it. However, if we go south, so following the direction of longshore drift, to Happisburgh, it's not such a happy story over here. So you can see Bacton's over here, over there. Happisburgh is just south of it along the coast. So here you can see the remains of some protection that was here, groins along here. But you can see that by these cliffs they have been submerged and eroded away. You can also see some rock armour at the base of the cliffs along here, but this doesn't do much. It's meant to increase the friction and thus reduce the energy of the waves, but it doesn't have much of an effect just because of how kind of powerful the waves are. So you can see, so Happisburgh doesn't have supposedly doesn't have that much of value. Of course, there are some residential houses along here, and there's a caravan park just on the coast. However, coastal management people who are in charge of the coastal management plan, not much. There's also some agricultural land along here and here, but they've decided that Happisburgh isn't very worth protecting. So for now, they're going on the do nothing approach or managed retreat, although I don't think it's very managed, if I'm honest. And so there's a lot of erosion along here, as you can see. There's basically no beach here. The lack of beach also means that the waves are more powerful because there's no friction to kind of slow them down. And you can see along here how the road has just been cut off into the sea. And yeah, this is also affected, of course, by the processes, by the human activity at Baktun. So that's the unintentional impact of the successful protection at Baktun because it's up north of Happisburgh. This leaves Happisburgh starved of sediment because it relies on longshore drift to provide sediment for it. So as we go further south, we reach sea Palling. So at sea Palling, there are sites of special scientific interest, and there's also access to the Norfolk Broads, although I can't seem to find them right here. You can see the Norfolk Broads along here. So sea Palling provides protection, the coast at sea Palling provides, and the dunes at sea Palling provide protection for the Norfolk Broads. And if there was flooding here, then it could breach into some of the water system there, and that would be very bad because the Norfolk Broads is a freshwater system, and salt water going into it would be really damaging for the environment. And the Norfolk Broads is a national park, so of course they want to protect it. It provides a lot of tourism, and also it has a lot of it provides a habitat for a lot of animals, especially birds. There's also some settlements along here, some villages and farmland, as you can see. So sea walls were built to protect the dunes along here. So you can see the dunes along here, and sea wall was built to protect them. So you can see the sea wall along here. And now, of course, the other very obvious thing that you can see here is the artificial reefs built along here. So these have been very successful, in fact a lot more successful than they were intended to be, and I'll get back to that in a second. So you can see these artificial reefs, they increase the friction along here, and so sediment builds up behind them. So there's a lot less energy behind them here, and so a lot of sediment is deposited. And you can see there's tombolos have formed along here. This is a tombolo that's joined up to the artificial reef, and you can even see vegetation growing on it and kind of securing it in place. So that was an unintentional impact because they didn't expect it to trap sediment so much that tombolos would form. But it's all right. It provides a lot of. It basically stopped longshore drift north to south along here. So as we go further south, again similar to Happisburgh, the place further south has not been so lucky. We can see Winterton-on-sea. So this place has been starved. It's south of sea Palling, which is along here. And it's been starved of sediment provided by longshore drift, which has resulted in more erosion along here. Okay, so here I've got the an image of the 1999 coastline at Winterton. At first glance it doesn't seem that different, but then if we switch to a photo taken in 2017, you can see that the beach along here, there's a lot kind of less beach there, and it's generally changed shape a bit. So this is an unintentional impact from the work at sea Palling, because longshore drift has reduced so significantly, which results in less deposition of sediment along here. It's important to talk about sediment budget. So sediment budget is the amount of loose material available for transportation and use in longshore drift. And so you can talk about sediment budget when you're talking about these case studies. So for example, the artificial reefs at sea Palling have decreased the sediment budget at Winterton because they've stopped longshore drift and resulted in these tombolos forming behind the reefs at sea Palling. Also, don't forget to talk about coasts as a system with inputs of sediment and energy and processes, and also with outputs. I hope that was helpful. It's quite a specific case study, so if you're not doing this as a case study, I don't know how useful it was. but I find it's quite a good case study. And yeah, please leave me suggestions for other geography A-level related videos. I'm doing the OCR spec, so yeah, hope that was helpful. Please leave a comment, like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.